of you know about accessibility here? Okay. So today my discussion is all about web content. It's all about, because internet is basically all the web pages, contents, all things. But we as a developer, it's not only for the developers, not only for the designers, and not only for the writers. So basically even for the owners of the company, they also have the benefit of this. So I'm going to explain everything like from all aspects, like how it's going to give the ease to the peoples. Like first of all, I'll let you know like accessibility. So this is all about how easily we access the content of website, like the pages. We have lots of things in the modern web pages, and example, like you can say there are contents, images, lots of media, videos. So we never consider about the development features for the disabled persons, the persons who are like facing the impairments problems. So in the image you can see that persons, some have the cognitive problems, visual, I mean like color blindness, or you can see like auditory hearing problem, and some kinds of disabilities and speech problems. So these are the peoples in our world, they live in our society. So while development, we always need to consider those peoples, and we always need to make that content accessible. So let's proceed with all these things, and as a developer, as a designer, we always should consider that. So accessibility, basically we are going to about the WCAG overview. As we know that WCAG is acronym for Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. And these all guidelines are made by hard efforts and hard work of the peoples all around the world. Like there are a group of peoples, and there is an organizations who made these guidelines, who made these standards, that by following those guidelines, now the web pages are becoming more accessible to the peoples around the world. So this is basically giving the growth to the web pages for last 2 decades, and it's keep improving day by day. So next we can say that about W3C. I know as a developer, how many of you know about W3C? W3C, you must have also know about W3C validator. You have used that while developing the web pages. Okay. So W3C is an organization that I was talking just a second ago, that these are the peoples. Right now they have about 75 full-time staff, and lots of organizations, they are going to volunteer, and they work together. They keep going, improving the guidelines to make the web pages contents accessible to those persons who deserves the right to use the internet easily. So basically, W3C, you can say, they have give their enough support and enough work and like efforts to bring these guidelines, and now following these guidelines, our web pages are in existence, and there are lots of things. So today, let me tell you, I am not expert for this topic, but whatever knowledge I have, I'm going to convey you, and I assure you that today when you will go to home, and I want that आज आपके पेरेंट्स आप घर पर जाएं तो पूछे क्या सीख के आए हो आप लोग, तो मैं नहीं चाहता कि आपके पेरेंट्स आपको बोले क्या सीखे हो, कुछ नहीं बताओगे आप, तो मैं चाहता हूं कि आप अपने पेरेंट्स को बताओगे देखो कम से कम लास्ट टॉपिक तो याद है आपको, सुबह से पता नहीं किसी को टाइटल भी याद होगा कि नहीं होगा, मुझे नहीं पता, तो मैं चाहता हूं कि लास्ट वाला आप लोग याद रखो, और काफ़ी लोग चले गए हैं बाहर, तो हो सकता है कि धीरे धीरे थोड़े अंदर आएंगे, ठीक है। तो W3C बताया मैंने आपको, सो दे ऑलवेज मेक द प्रोटोकॉल्स गाइडलाइंस, देयर आर सम punishable offense also. So basically I can say this is basically following by the government sectors, public sectors, or the big websites. So basically those websites that are accessing by the large group of peoples around the world. So while developing, developers also should take care about all those things. So WCAG 2.0. It's 2.0, so obviously there is a question in your mind that there must be a version before this that was in existence. So yes, so there was WCAG 1.0. How many of you know about WCAG? So like, have you ever applied that for the websites? Like how long did you apply that? Okay, government websites. So like, can you give me an example like what you have done for that web pages or website? Okay. Okay. I'm giving a simple example, like if you have visited to the government websites, you have simply found some small a, then little medium a, and keep a capital A more bigger than that. And when you click on that, it gives you a big font sizes. So that is basically regarding the persons who has like visibility problem, like small fonts or big fonts, all those things. So this is just an example. So WCAG 2.0 is a recommended label. This is the label, okay? There is a label under it. Like there are 3 labels under it. I will explain one by one. So WCAG 2.0 is basically all about the assessing content, and this is recommended by the Europeans. Like there's a unions that I talked about, W3C. This is the European unions. So apart from this, America has their own unions. They follow ADA. They have their also like their own guidelines. So that is not basically more different from this. So if you are working for the WCAG 2.0 for your web pages or website, so basically you are also following the ADA compliance for their websites. So I think not all over the world this is like following by the developers or designers or by the owners of the companies. But yes, it is almost like Australia, Japan, or like Israel, USA. So big countries are following these. Even in India, like our government sectors are following this, but not on public sectors. And so basically WCAG 2.0 like succeeded over WCAG 1.0. So there have some lack of benefits or lack of things that due to that, this got emerged. So I will let you know like what are the 3 levels. WCAG 2.0 is recommended, but what level? And what level are you going to achieve that? Is it possible that you can achieve all the levels for your web pages? No. So I'm going to explain all about that. So there are principles, guidelines, and success criteria. So all these gives you like guidelines. So basically this is not a small thing that I'm going to teach you here and you are just going to do that. Recently I have worked on this project and after working on that I got the idea, and now I feel that what actually it is. Before that, most of the things while developing, as I'm a developer, I was ignoring most of the things, but now after getting this knowledge, I am not ignoring those things because I know that if I am ignoring those things in the web content, so I am ignoring the disabled persons. So we have to take care of it. This is a serious topic. This is not I don't want to give a like interesting topic, but this is a serious topic. And we should take care as a developer, as a designer, and we should consider them, that how they are using, how the blind people like use the websites. We just take the projects and then we do that and just we complain, okay, ho gaya, ab kya karna hai? Chalo complete. But have we ever thought about those persons who is not able to access those web pages? There are some tools like screen readers and all, but they will never give their full working procedure if you are not making the web content accessible. If your web page is not accessible, that screen reader is not going to work completely. So we have to be careful about that. And this is, at last, I will let you know like how this is more useful for the owners of the company as well, how you are going to make it upsell for the clients. So under 4 principles, like you can see, there are 4 principles that needs to be concerned about that. This is very simple, short notes about these. I know you are smart enough. You can Google everything, but I am not going to teach you how it is going to work, but I want to give you a focus that please keep focus on this. And really, it's a very important thing in your career. If you have the knowledge, I really like assure you that it will boost your resume also. It will boost your career that you know about this. So 4 principles, there is a perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. So perceivable, so basically your content should be like when a screen reader is reading, it's read all by top from the down. So it should be perceivable, like what you are writing, what you are putting the images, everything, it should be readable, understandable, okay? So basically understandable, like if you are putting any images, then it must be understandable if you are not putting any alternates for that. So there are 2 alternates. If someone is blind, then you have to put some contents as an alternative for those media. Or if that is not blind, and if he's like just he can hear, so you can put the alternate text for that images. Okay? So operable, you know, like there are lots of devices we are using. Someone maybe like he is disabled, he cannot use the mouse. So how he will access that? Maybe he will use the, like some other devices. So how he will work? So it should be, your web pages should be compatible with all the devices, with all the coming new technologies devices, like keyboards and other like joysticks, so all those things. And robust, you know, it should be. So these 4 points are subdivided into 4, 4, 3, and 1 guide respectively. So basically it's all about like how you have to main the content, what alternatives should be for the medias, how your code should be clean and clear. There should be space between the forms, why the forms input should always have the labels, why the labels should always be in the left side. So everything, all things are come under these guidelines. And if you are going to follow these, and then under these guidelines, there are successful criteria. If you follow those success criteria, you will get the idea, like how it's going. Yes, are you going? So now you have a questions that if you are following this, how you will come to know that your website becomes WCAG 2.0 with single A level or double A level or triple A level. How you will know that? So yes, there are some tools where you can check that. So what you can do, you can use those tools, you can audit the web pages, you can check out all the things like what are the problems in your web pages, and considering those, you can use the online tools, guidelines, recommended like suggestions, and following those, you can again check those pages, and it will show you that now you are good. So it's up to you. So there is not, I have not read any about punishable offense regarding this, but I know that there are some punishable offense, especially in ADA, but not under W3C like WCAG. But now these are becoming punishable, and there are some offense. If not for the public sector, private sector, but for the government sector, now it's a concern point. Now no one is ignoring this and focusing on this point. So if you are following this, then you have to follow under 3 levels. What level you want to achieve? So first one is single A level, where there are some success criteria and guidelines. You can follow those. It's very easy. You can do that. It's compulsory as well for your website. And you can easily achieve that in a couple of hours for a website, like around 8 to 10 pages of websites. You can spend whole day, and I think you can do that. But AA is recommended, but it's not really very easy. So in AA, there are also some guidelines. So you can follow that. And AAA is like really complex, not recommended. It's a strict test. And I think most of the web pages are not possible that they are going to achieve the level AAA. So why? Why provide some resource that helps designers, writers? So as I told you initially, like there are different aspects of the accessibility where we need to focus on. So those are like designing aspect, development aspect, and writing aspect. So all these aspects, like if we worry about that and if we keep focusing on that, we can work on that. There are lots of guidelines, lots of tutorings. So you can go online, there are lots of resources, you can follow those. Before I proceed, let me give you a real life example. How many of you have driving license? कितनों के पास है और कितनों के पास नहीं है? बता दो, मैं नहीं बोलूँगा बाहर. इसके पास भी नहीं हंस रही है ये. So basically what happened, मेरे पास भी नहीं था, अभी 1 महीने पहले लिया है ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस, और 7 साल से ऐसे ही चला रहा था बाइक को. तो जब लगी तो फिर लेना पड़ा. तो क्यों बता रहा हूँ? क्योंकि बहुत सारे साइंस है. देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ साइंस बोर्ड्स ऑन द रोड. आई नेवर केयर अबाउट दोज थिंग्स. लाइक बम्स के लगे में 30-40 लिखे हैं. क्या है 30-40? कुछ पता नहीं चलता था. 30-40 कार के लिए है कि बाइक के लिए, वो कभी ध्यान नहीं दिया, बस बाइक चलाया. सो ऑलवेज आई इग्नोर दोज थिंग्स. तो जब लाइसेंस बन गया, मैंने एग्जाम दिया. अभी जिसने एग्जाम नहीं दिया, मैंने एग्जाम कर लिया है, तो उनके साथ नहीं होगा ये चीज़. पर मैंने एग्जाम दिया. एग्जाम देने के बाद व्हेन आई रीड ऑल दोज थिंग्स, तो अब जब मैं बाइक लेकर निकलता हूँ, जब मुझे दिखता है वो, तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि यार ये तो इस चीज़ के लिए है. तो अब मैं उसको फॉलो करने लगा हूँ. ठीक है, कहीं कहीं फॉलो करता हूँ, कहीं जरूरत पड़ती है तो मैं उसे कभी कभी इग्नोर भी करता हूँ कि यार मेरे को जल्दी है तो 30 कितना खींचूँ, 50 में खींच देता हूँ. सो बेसिकली दिस इज सेम थिंग. when I was not aware about the WCAG, जब मुझे नहीं पता था जिसके बारे में, I didn't know about ABC, about this WCAG, I never care about the coding. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि पूरा फर्जी बड़ा कर दिया कोड में, क्लाइंट को थमा दिया कि ले भाई तेरा हो गया काम. But now when I like do any code, I show any images, I use image tag. At that time, I use, if I leave the empty alt tags and I say, oh, इसमें alt text तो होना चाहिए यार, इसमें तो वरना वो disables जो होंगे वो कैसे read करेंगे, उसी screen reader कैसे use करेंगे वो. तो अभी वो चीज़ को मैं छोड़ता नहीं हूँ. या अगर कोई फॉर्म है तो फॉर्म को जो है उसमें लेबल्स वगैरह अगर होते हैं तो वो मुझे रखना होता है. तो मुझे ध्यान में है वो चीज़ कि वी शुड फॉलो दोज थिंग्स. ठीक है, डेवलपमेंट में अभी डेवलपर्स के लिए होता है कि कुछ टाइम्स दे दिए गए हैं, डेडलाइन दे दिया गया है, उनको हरी रहता है कि आई हैव टू कंप्लीट दिस प्रोजेक्ट एज अर्ली एज पॉसिबल. लेकिन इफ एटलीस्ट थोड़ा बहुत हम उसमें कर सकते हैं अपनी तरफ से एफर्ट्स कि वो वेब एक्सेसिबल हो. ठीक है, और अगर एक्स्ट्रा करना हो तो आप क्लाइंट को बोल सकते हो कि यस इट विल टेक कपल ऑफ मोर आवर्स, सो प्लीज अप्रूव दोज आवर्स, so it will give you benefit for your company as well, and you will also get to learn about that. So all those things. So here designing for web accessibility, so you can read all these points like what should be considered regarding the designing aspects of the web accessibility. So there are lots of things while contrasting. It's not small, you have to see lots of things. Okay, so recently one website I have worked on, it took 80 hours to make it accessible. That was only of 20 pages. So contrast, there are some tools. When you run the URL in that tool, it will show you contrast table, like what should be the four color, what should be the background color, is it readable or not. There are lots of plugins regarding that. You can install it, and after installing, like you can see, it will show you lots of options for the color blindness, for the vision, or like hearing problem, lots of things. Even you have the skip a link. Sometimes users want to skip the navigation. They just want to go to the content. You can use the skip the nav. So it will get you directly to the contents. So there are lots of things, not just one thing. In the same way, like there are interactive elements that should be identified, clear and consistent navigation options. Ensure that form includes the clearly associative labels. I already explained about this. Heading, spacing, image, media alternatives, all those things. This should be considered all about. There are lots of examples. I haven't put those examples here. It will become very big. There is less time here. So let's proceed to development. So in the developing, there are same thing. For example, developing now, if you are using an image tag, like do you know, like you use title in the tag? Does that title get read by the screen reader? Does anyone have any idea? Does the screen reader read the title attributes of the tag, HTML tags? No. So basically you have to use the alt, and there are different options. There are Y area I'm going to describe, but that is a different topic. If I get another chance, I think that was a very big topic, Y area, and I will explain about that, why it was evolved after HTML5, so all those things. So again, there are markups, all the things users avoid. The main thing, help users avoid and correct mistakes. Every time when we do codings and things, we just give the directions to the users. Please follow this, please follow this. So we should avoid those mistakes by the users, and we should program the code in such a way that it should be avoided by our program. For example, by entering someone using the phone numbers, and he put some space in the phone number. So it should be done by the program itself, that while filling the form. You need to remove those space by default from the code. But never ask the user to just go remove the space and then again fill the form. That is not good. So we should be careful about the code. Again, there is CAPTCHA. CAPTCHA is also not readable by the screen readers. So you have to give some alternatives for the CAPTCHA. अभी क्या हो रहा है कि हम लोग जब हमारी आंखें हैं, फिर भी कई बार कैप्चा में हम करते रहते हैं, 3 बार 4 बार वो आता रहता है एरर्स के साथ कि भाई भरते जाकर भी पक जाते हैं हम. ठीक है, तो अभी सोचो कि बैंडमैन को कैसे वो प्रॉब्लम्स होती होगी. तो ऑलवेज वी नीड टू गिव सम अल्टरनेटिव्स, लाइक यू कैन गिव द मैथ कैप्चा और समथिंग लाइक दैट, सो दे कैन यूज दैट. सो Y area, as I was discussing about that, there are lots of non-standard elements that are now in use for the modern web designs and development. And for those non-standard elements, now we have to follow Y area. Y area is a very big topic. I'm going to give you simple examples that Y area is divided into 3 parts. So maybe you are remember like there are three parts. One is role, second is properties, and third is state. So under role, sometimes if you are a developer, then you must have so like under area, you see there is an area and role is equal to nav. Have you seen role is equal to nav, role is equal to banner, role is equal to search in the div, sometimes in the code. So basically those roles just gives the idea about like what these forms and elements are all about. Like what is it about? The role defines that this is about banners, this is related to search functionality. In the same pattern, if you use the properties of the Y area, that is going to describe you about the little more about that inputs. In the same way, like after properties, there is a state. So like in which state this input is right now. So for example, if form has been filled, as I told you, like in the properties, you can define area required. Area required is equal to true. For example, first name is required. So you can mention in the tag, area required is equal to true. So it will be readable by the reader. In the same pattern, like if the form has been submitted, so you can make it like area disabled is equal to true. So now the form has been submitted, now you are not going to submit the form again. So all these area elements, there are lots, like big resource about this, and this is not small, so I'm just skipping this. There's a writing for web accessibility, so I think sometimes we don't have the right containers, like as a developer, we ourselves do the writing part. अभी क्या हो रहा है कि राइटिंग हम लोग खुद कंटेंट डाल देते हैं, कंटेंट हमें क्लाइंट ला के दे देते हैं, बट फॉर द राइटर्स, इफ दे आर राइटर्स, दे शुड बी वरी अबाउट, दे शुड बी कीप फोकस ऑन पेज टाइटल्स, लाइक व्हाट शुड बी द पेज टाइटल्स, व्हाट शुड बी द हेडर्स. सिंपली अभी एसईओ गाइस को भी पता है कि हमें जब मार्कअप्स बनाते हैं, एचटीएमएल डेवलप करते हैं, तो इट शुड बी इन अ हायरार्की, लाइक देयर शुड बी फर्स्ट title should be called in H1, header 1, then in S2, and then in H3. So that is a sequence. So if someone is writing the content, there should be some title, there is some space, there should be some content, and space. All things should be managed properly. And basically, I can say web content is the most important thing, because if there is not good content, no one is going to read. So it should be concise and clear and readable and understandable. So for the transcripts, so sometimes if you have visited a web page in the image for the media, like what will you do if a screen reader is not going to read the media? A screen reader is not going to understand the video, what it is about. So how you are going to give the accessibility for the disabled persons, how they are going to access that? So for the images and for the videos, you have to use some transcripts link, so that can explain all about that. Or for the image, you can use the alter. For the audio, you can use the transcript. So in such a way, you can make the web accessible. I already explained about this, like why WCAG 2.0 succeeded over 2.1. So this is all about, like previously, like those have the, like WCAG 1.0, that was considering with the checkpoints. Like if you are following the checkpoint 1, then you are going to checkpoint 2. Then you are going to checkpoint 3, but that is not. Now in the WCAG 2.0, they have labels. If you are following the double A labels, it means you have already followed the double A single A. So it's already been achieved if you are achieving double A level. So, but it was not in the WCAG 1.0. For example, in the double A level, if you are going to achieve, then you can see there are contrast level ratio. I don't know how this ratio is going to work, but there are some tools that will show you like you have to follow this ratio. So once you are following that ratio with the foreground, forecolor and background color, it will show you now it's perfect, so you can go according to that. So there are lots of guidelines regarding this also. So due to lack of guidelines and after launching the HTML5, there are lots of tags launched, like nav tag. Previously what happened, we used the divs and just do the build up the HTML pages. But after HTML5, now they gave you the different types of tags, like head tag, footer tag, nav tag, beside tag, aside tag, all those kinds of tags. But screen readers and new like devices, they are not reading those tags. So what will you do? So that I explained about that, why area is going to solve that problem regarding those tags if you are using those tags. Now transitioning from WCAG 1.0 to WCAG 2.0. Now what about WCAG 1.0? अभी जो वेबसाइट्स बन चुके हैं 1.0 में उनका क्या किया जाए? अभी तो ये लोग बोल रहे हैं कि डिमांड के भाई 2.0 में करके दो. What about that? कैसे किया जाएगा? So not to worry about that. There are not a lot of difference between those things. सिर्फ तरीका अलग था, कुछ गाइडलाइंस अलग थे, लेकिन अभी आपको थोड़ा सा इंप्रूवमेंट करना है और आप उसको कन्वर्ट कर सकते हो WCAG 2.0 में. और मैं अभी बताऊंगा आपको कौन कौन से टूल्स हैं जिसको यूज करके आप उसको कन्वर्ट कर सकते हो. सो बेसिकली 5 पॉइंट्स हैं जो आपको फोकस करना है. And those are WCAG conformance levels. I already explained that. Keep focusing on develop like a conference level, AA. That is recommended. And second is full pages. So basically, if you are making accessible at one section, if your web page is divided into 5 sections, and you are just focusing on one section to make it accessible, then it's not going to work. You have to make the whole web page accessible. Else, you are not going to achieve that. So this is the second point, that you have to complete the full page, complete process. So what is complete process? I tell you about the complete full page. Well, now what is complete process? So in WooCommerce store, like you have saw, like when we do the purchasing, we go to the product archive page, then we go to the detail page, and then we add cart, and then we go to the cart page, and then we go to the checkout. So actually we have process from 1 to 4 pages. So this is the process. So you cannot skip that process. If you are making the accessible the archive page, you have to follow that till the checkout. It should be accessible. Now, fourth point is accessibility supported ways using technologies. So basically, there are lots of technologies we are using now that is not accessible to the web pages. I'm sorry, not accessible to the like devices that disabled persons use. So those technologies are not reading by the devices like screen readers or different types of devices. So regarding that, you have to concern about that. If you are using those technologies, still you have to make that web content accessible. Apart from that, it should be not blocked by that technology. Fifth is non-interference. So this is all about the same thing. Like if you use any web pages, then it should be compatible with all the new devices, all the browsers, and all the screen readers, everything. So let's go to the online tools for checking accessibility. बस अब थोड़ा सा और है, क्लोज हो गया हूँ, अब मुझे लगता है कि फिर एंजॉय करेंगे हम. तो ऑनलाइन टूल्स फॉर चेकिंग एक्सेसिबिलिटी. सुरेश माय डियर फ्रेंड, हाँ ठीक है, जागे रहना, तुम्हारी मम्मी को जवाब देना है मुझे. So online tools for checking accessibility. So a checker, this is a very good tool. So you can go, just try this tool, take a URL of your website and paste there and run that. And you will get the idea like how accessible your web page is. It will show you different types of potential problems and errors and everything. So as a developer or as an owner or as a project manager, I can tell you like you can run the websites of your client and just go tomorrow or Monday and give an email to the client, please do this. This is very helpful for your web pages. So you are going to give a new business. Again, X web accessibility testing, HTML code sniffer, mobile web accessibility checker, web evaluation tool. So the lots of tools, I have mentioned only 5. There are lots of tools, you can use that. Here is the A checker that I have used. So if you run over here, it will show you the known problems and the potential problems. You should not worry about that. It is just a notice and warning, but I can say that it's not in your hand to make it accessible 100%. It's not possible. But still you need to try to remove all the known problems from there. Don't worry about the potential problems, so you will get the congratulations. This is the same, you can see here, you have the options, what kind of accessibility you want to improve. So you have HTML validator, CSS validator, and these are all the labels. If you have achieved the AA label, you can select that option, view by guideline or view by line number. It will give you everything, all the idea about this. And you can even you can audit that website from here, you can download it. You can get a download options from here, take out that page, and send to the client and tell them, you have to please worry about this your website because it should be accessible for all the users around the world. So next is web tools. This is also a very wonderful tool. So you can easily install this tool from the Chrome browser. You can go to the Chrome browser, just install this tool, and once you click on that, it will show you everything there. You can see now there are 37 errors and others errors, and it's not visible right now. I'm sorry for that. And in the 47, you can see that is the ADA. So you can solve these things also. This is also going to help you. So once you are going to solve these problems, it is going to be converted into green signal. Now, what about the WordPress? Like, is WordPress accessible for the disabled? So yes, in 2016, now WordPress core files are WCAG 2.0 AA level approved, but not the themes, that is third party, but not the plugins, those related to the third party. Those authors, they have to worry about their own, okay? So WordPress is not going to worry about that. But yes, the core files of the WordPress and bundled themes and plugins, all those are already accessible. So you don't need to worry about those things. Again, tech tools that help disabled. So I want to show you some of the devices. Maybe like if you see, then you can get the idea. Like these are the tools these are very costly, not very easy. So even if they are costly, they are not in use if you are not making the web pages accessible. They are not in use. So there are lots of things. Screen readers. The persons who are visually impaired, there are lots of tools like NVDA, ORCA, Apple VoiceOver. So you can go and search about this and you will get that. You are well aware about the Braille keywords. How many of you are aware about the Braille keywords? Have you seen that ever? Like blind people generally use that. There is a keyboard. It has a dot, and if you touch that, you will get the idea. So based on that, they use that and access that. Again, there are SIP and POP systems, physically impaired. So this is just like tool. They can move their mouse head and it will work like a mouse. Hands-free mouse tracking, voice controls. These are all the tools. So you can see Braille keyboard. Here's the image, how the dots are raised over the keyboard. And then there is a SIP and POP systems. So basically you can attach it on your tab laptop or computer. And after attaching that, when you will move your mouth, like mouth here, like your head, it will work like a joystick. And when you open your mouth and close, it will like enter. So everything. So this is a very interesting tool. I just read this. And then hands-free mouse tracking, all those things are, and there are lots of things. So if you are interested, if you are a developer, so I think if you have got this idea, maybe you will come, if you are getting free time, just read about this. If you are free and if you are not getting jobs in your company or like work, I really want to tell you, just send this information to 10 of your clients. I assure you, one of your clients will come to you and he will say, please do the accessibility for me. So, thank you. And now it's question rounds. So, questions का बम छोड़ना है या पार्टी में चलें अब? Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.